Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Thrashers Paradise. Today we are joined with a very unique kind of a band. I say it situationally because once starting out in the Great Prairies of Canada, and now certain members are in Sweden, I do believe. Correct?
One member has always been in Sweden. Yeah, he's a permanent member there, permanent resident.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Well, anyways, we are joined with Michael. He is a guitarist, a bass player, a keyboardist, and noise and percussionist for the Blackened Doom industrial metal band Culted. How are you doing today, good sir?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. And, well, right off the bat, you're releasing very soon or News. News?
Pronounce it how you will. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's some have said new if you're saying in French, but it's actually not a French term. It's a Latin term or Greek term. But I like the French term too, which means we. So hey, it's take it as you will.
All right. Well, News will be coming out very soon at the end of this month. And, well, since 2009, you've released 2 full lengths and 2 EPs, and now you're on full length number 3. Has it sunk in yet that this is the 3rd full length that Culted is releasing?
Has it sunk in? Boy, we sit with these records for so long. It feels like it's a good feeling, almost like an exorcism to kind of purge this stuff out of your system. It feels good. Like I feel like we've been putting out records forever, but really it's only, like you said, 3 full lengths and 2 EPs.
Now, compared to the last full lengths and EPs, what makes News different from the rest?
Looking well, I mean, each record had its own kind of thing going on because of contextual circumstances or whatever you want to say. I'd say if you want to just go with let's go with the last full length, Oblique to All Paths. That album was much more almost like like one movement. It really had a consistent, at least in my opinion, had a flow that kind of felt like from A to from beginning to end. It was a soundtrack to something. It was thematic in its own way, whereas the new album, New or Noose, this came about in a much different way. Whereas the songs, it was because of the circumstances surrounding the creation of the record. The songs kind of came about in a way that it was like, again, you're trying to get rid of stuff from your system, and there was a lot of, I mean, for lack of a cliche, a lot of darkness around the creation of this record. And I was, in the process when I was writing for it, I was trying to find joy. I didn't realize at the time, but I just wanted to play stuff that sounded and felt good to play. And in my opinion, this song, the album is a much more song-oriented approach, whereas there's a lot more songs on it, where you can kind of go, that song sounds like its own song. You can kind of hear a song independent of the record, and you go like, yeah, okay, that sounds fine or cool or whatever you want to call it. Whereas I think the previous album, Oblique, really was an album, like to be heard in its entirety from beginning to end.
Awesome. Now, back in on December 3rd of last year, you released the first single off the album, Lifers. For all of you collectively in the band, was it a very easy decision, or was it a hard decision to decide that Lifers was going to be the first track that the people heard from the new album?
Well, no, it was actually unanimous. We each, going with a record label saying, or any record, when you put out a record, you have to promote it. And there's the idea that you put out 3 singles in advance. So they came to us and said, what are the 3 songs you want to release in advance of the record, and in what order? And what's come out, being Lifers, then Blackbird, and now Maze, was exactly how, we, independent of one another, when we submitted our list, it was exactly the same 3 songs in the same order. So, synchronicity, whatever you want to call it, we clearly thought that those were the records that, or the songs that kind of exemplify the, thematic quality of the record.
Now, recently, they're talking about the third single, Maze. A music video recently came out for that song. What all really went into behind the scenes work for creating the music video?
Um, well, that would be all between Matt, the other kind of my partner in crime here in Canada, where like it's we record, wherever, but he's kind of got a mobile studio and a studio in his basement, and he took it upon himself to kind of, well, now with COVID, right? So he's working from home, so he had a lot of extra time. So he's like, I'm going to figure out how to make video and edit it and do it proper. So he basically is the driving force behind us having these videos and not having to resource it out to a third party, and basically told Daniel, like, hey, you need to record yourself or video yourself in with gave him some ideas of how to do that, and then basically took that raw material, and Matt came up with a lot of the conceptual ideas behind the video, kind of talked over with us, but really Matt kind of took that on himself and put a fuck of a lot of hours into figuring it out and editing it all together. And yeah, I think I don't know, I'd say it's a pretty impressive, just a dude that's never looked at stuff like that before and figured it out and got it going.
Awesome. Now, for you personally, out of all 10 tracks that are going to be released from this new album, which one, for you personally, are you the most proud of
From the entire album?
from the entire album?
Wow. I don't know. Like, it's each one is so hmm. If I had to say one song, I would go probably with Maze. I don't know. There's something there when it was being created, and then when we were recording it. Well, actually, we had recorded it, and we were adding some stuff in Matt's studio, and the whole first part of that song, I felt like it needed something before the kind of the brutal chugging guitar comes in, and it's just kind of that kind of whatever chorded piece came to me, and it was just going to be like a quick 4 chords and then out, but I really thought it needed a little more, and so hence is what you hear now is it's stretched out to almost a minute before the actual drums and guitars all kick in, and we just kind of, it really rounded out the song nicely, kind of gave it an, I don't know if an intro, but kind of warms you up for the kind of the brutality and what comes after.
Awesome. Now, for you, another for you personally question: which song off of the album did you find the hardest to write or create?
On this album, I would say the one that was kind of the biggest pain, just it wasn't coming out the way I thought it should, with after demoing it and how Matt and I had talked about it, and that would be Blackbird. It just wasn't clicking in the way that I thought it should, and it really came down to us removing a lot of stuff that was on there and finding a different soul within the song, and changing up the beat a bit. Yeah, I'd say that one, with the changes that were made, that really surprised, I think, both of us, that it kind of came into a really, it's a, I wouldn't say a simple song, but it's a primitive song. It's only really 2 riffs, and I don't know, it really came off nicely. Yeah, I think that one, that's the one. Yeah, Blackbird.
Now, I noticed on the track list with the email I was sent, track number 10 is a Godflesh cover, and the song is Crush My Soul. For now, when it came to doing the cover, did you find it like very difficult to cover, or did you just find it like like it came off naturally?
I don't know if it was difficult to cover. It seems, I don't know. It was actually, I think it was the first thing we probably recorded for this album. Um, it was, it was something I've been, I don't know why. I mean, I love Godflesh, but, and I love the thematic elements behind or what the song means to me lyrically. And I just kind of said, I don't even know why I asked the guys. I kind of just said, no, we should record Crush My Soul. And it was just kind of like, yeah, okay. And, there wasn't a lot of thought put into it other than we're just going to really, stretch it out in the sense like we want to, it's kind of a really upbeat song, the original, and it's kind of really aggressive. And we kind of, yeah, stretched out the riffs and made it its own kind of dirgy, noisy, nasty kind of ugly brother of the original.
I love that description. um, the one thing I've been dying to ask for, and I was waiting to ask for it now. Now, I absolutely love the up and coming album artwork. It is so amazing and so exciting. Like can't wait to see, well, for the whole world to eventually see this album cover all over. And I just gotta know what went into the early design work for it, and who is the mastermind that created it.
Well, I can't say. Okay, well, first, it's by a surrealist painter, Italian painter, Italian surrealist artist, Ettore Aldo del Vigo, and I'm probably saying that terribly, but yeah. Anyways, he's the real deal. He's a surreal artist from Italy who shows in galleries. He's in books. He's the real deal, and and I don't know how I came across his stuff initially. I mean, it was probably through Instagram and following like other surrealists like is his name Baskinsky? These Polish artists that are just incredible, and probably somebody made a reference somewhere, or it's that kind of strange 10 degrees of separation. Somehow you find yourself as this individual, and I was awed by his work. The surrealism, the kind of the religious allegory behind all of his work, or most of his work. Yeah, and just his vision of these scenes is I don't know. There's so much to be pulled from them that I can stare at it for hours. To answer your question, the piece that is on the album was already painted, so we didn't commission him to
Oh.
do that. I mean, we had to. I contacted him via email and just inquired, like, "Hey, I thought it was a long shot because we actually, as a band, we were like talking about the album artwork, what we want to do, and I said, I see kind of a single figure." As the kind of the main visual piece of the artwork, kind of like this. And I showed them the piece that is the album artwork, and the guys were like, "Well, why don't we just use that?" And I was like, "Well, fuck, he's a real artist. He's not gonna, allow this, noisy metal band to use his fine art." But lo and behold, I contacted him. I think he got back in a few hours, and he was like, "Yeah, sure. You just, it'll cost this much. If you're willing to license that for that, you can use it. You have exclusive rights to it. Nobody else will ever use it. You can have it for merch and whatnot." So it was like, okay, uh, we'll scrounge that money together, and now you have what you have. And I mean, I love that album, that art so much. I, I mean, of course, we got the really high res image of it, or a file of it. So first thing I did was went and got a poster made and framed it in my house. Like that was just like, that is, to me, that's just fine art. And I paid for it, so I'm going to use it. And I can't sell it, but I can definitely showcase it in my home.
Of course. Awesome. Now, I have a fun question to ask you. We like to ask this for all of our first-time guests that do come on Thrashers Paradise, just to test your metal knowledge. Who would win in a fight, Lemmy or God?
Lemmy.
That is correct.
I mean, there's no. Come on.
Yeah. You're correct. No, thank you so much, Michael, for your time. Is there anything else you would like to say to people that are watching this on YouTube?
No, man. But well, the album comes out February 26th. Check out the our previous album. We had a EP come out a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and we have two other full lengths on Relapse before that. Our new album's on Season of Mist. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure. And until next time, everyone, keep on thrashing.
Cheers.